You want to know what it's like to be a security controller? No, you don't. Trust me, you don't. But if you do want to know, without having to go through the hassle of actually doing it, this story is going to help you understand just a little bit of the trauma that you might experience. For anyone who is interested, I will make another whole video on my experience as a security controller. But this right now is just me telling a story from that time. And this is the story of the first time that we dealt with a hostage situation as a collective in the control room of this security company. So again, it was pretty much the same as the murder story. It kind of starts out the same. You had a busy day, lots of stuff going wrong. You can expect that. If I've got a big story to tell, it's probably because it was a big day. And that's unfortunately the way the world works. For some reason, the criminal minds just collectively combine together and say, today is the day that we're all going to do something terrible. And that's what happened. They went and did something terrible. The day went on and on and on. Finally, things start calming down because there always comes that mellow moment. Some days they weren't. Some days you worked 12 hours, sit down, get going. 12 hours later, you're still sitting, getting going, waiting for the briefing to finish so you can just frickin' go home and cry into your pillow. So the day had mellowed out once again, pretty similar to the murder story. A phone call came through and I don't know what was going on, but none of us in the front picked it up. At least this is what I remember. It might be different. It was a long time ago. And with these stories, I tend to block out bits and pieces because it's an intense story. You don't really want to be there all the time. So I disengage or I disassociate from the story or the experience, and that makes my story kind of miss pieces in between the crucial moments. But luckily I remember the crucial moments. So I'm going to express the bits and pieces as what I think they were, just like I did with the murder story. Not all of that story possibly was true in the exact way of it happening, but it's true in the way that I envision or remember. The day went mellow. A phone call got to the back, the C1, Command 1. I don't remember if that's the abbreviation. It doesn't sound right, but I'm going to use it because that's what it is, right? That's what I remember. Like I said, I'm just saying what I think I remember, not exactly the truth. So C1 was sitting behind me to the left. So he was over there. And I was sitting over here. Then we had one person next to me and one person next to that person. We had one person next to the C1 on the right and one person next to the C1 on the left. And C1 picks up the call and he does the whole cap control. This is blah, blah, blah speaking, blah, 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 blah. We can't hear the phone call. One of the things which I might change if I ran my own is that if you wanted to, you could pick up the phone and hear the call going on so that you could know how to dispatch without the other person having to tell you what to do while he's dealing with the phone call, so you could listen in. But whatever, that's just a side note on this story on how I might do different things if I ran a security company. Nonetheless, we rely on them speaking. So he was speaking out what was going on. And he was just talking normally. None of us were doing anything. We were kind of cracking jokes in the front. And then we just heard hostage. And again, the room went blank. The room went quiet. Everyone shut up. The whole front row, the guys on the side there, the guys on the side there, the guys behind next to the C1, the guys next to me in the front row. Everyone went quiet. And I just looked at the chick that was next to me and she looked at me and we were just like, oh my God. Because hostage situations are not common. They are not things that happen. A hostage situation is so rare that you don't really know how to deal with it. All the training and stuff can't prepare you because it doesn't happen. So you can't say, if you said I'm a controller that's dealt with 10 hostage situations, that meant you frickin' knew what you were doing and people would listen to you because that means you've dealt with experience behind one of the most intense things you can. This hostage situation, we heard hostage in the back and it just kept escalating. So first, what I remember from the phone call or from what the dude was saying, I don't remember all the words exactly, but basically what happened was that right now, what I picture in my head, and I don't know if it's because I saw it on the camera or if it's because the dude taking the phone call was saying it out and mentioned the scenery or the setting. I don't remember why that's in my head, but it is containers, like shipping containers. I imagine a yard with shipping containers and people inside the shipping containers and people outside, and people inside the shipping containers are carrying guns and the people outside are the hostages. and they're doing something. Clearly there was something of importance in the shipping container. The dude is going on, he's just giving these details about the story going on, saying this is the setting. I don't know who it is that called him, because it couldn't have been one of the hostages. But then he said, okay, thank you very much. He put the phone down. He directed to dispatch. We sent a bunch of guys there. You can't really do anything. This is why a hostage situation is so hectic. You can't get involved too much. You have to do negotiations and things like that. So we sent our guys there. They surrounded the perimeter, but there's nothing you can do. A hostage is a hostage. You know, if the criminals said, you're going to make an opening and we're going to walk out, or we're going to shoot all the hostages, you have to do that. Nonetheless, we sent our guys there. We were all there. Things were going on. Then he got a phone call again. And this time the phone call sounded a little bit panicked. And he was just still taking it nice and gently, nice and fast. And he said, and then what I remember is something like, he said on the phone or out loud, he said something like shooting or being shot at or something like that. Shooting is the word that comes to my mind. So then we all pricked our ears again and started listening, like, is this going to be hectic? Are we going to have to dispatch all our guys there to freaking take these guys out? We heard shooting, and then we heard something like murder or something like that again. Or P4. That's what we heard. We heard shooting, and then we heard P4 come from his mouth. And that's when we knew, like, well, that's another hostage situation which led to life being taken, which didn't need to be taken. And it's just so glum, dude. You're just like, oh my goodness, I can't do this anymore. And nothing happened. That's the worst part, is that this situation wasn't resolved by the time that I left the control room. Because in that sort of situation, we have to hand over to the police, but the police are useless. I'm sorry that I'm bad-mouthing the police system so much in South Africa. There are some really good policemen here. I'm even friends with some of them. But overall, the system itself works. The system itself doesn't work. And that demotivates all the cops from actually even trying. And that's the issue. So before I could even hear what was being resolved about the hostage situation, I had to leave. And that went on for like a couple hours before I had to leave, and there was still nothing being done about it. So I left, and that's the story as I know it. Maybe there's someone that was on that team that I could talk to that could give me more details. I don't know. But that's all I remember from that story. It was pretty hectic. I hope you enjoyed this one. I know this was a little bit more macabre and a little bit less fun and jumpy, a little bit more gloom and doom. But there are experiences I've had like that, and I want to express them. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you very much for watching and subscribing and leaving a like. Let me know in the comments below if you have any experience as a security controller or maybe as a policeman where you've had to deal with something like this. Let me know how you dealt with it and how you would have resolved something like that, because even in my mind, even after my experience as a controller, I can't fathom how I would resolve a situation like that. At the end of the day, all I would say is just shoot the mofos. Honestly, just bomb the whole goddamn. No, not bomb it, but like get rid of those people is what I would have said. Line 5 snipers up, however many people there are, line the snipers up along the perimeter and take them out. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? There are innocent people's lives there, and these people want to threaten taking them and then did take them. Nah. Shoot them, get it over with. Awful people are gone from this world. That's just a bonus in my head. Honestly, that's just a bonus in my head. Nonetheless, though, if that's not the right approach for any reason, maybe because life is precious, blah, 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 leave a comment telling me so if you disagree with my choices or my statement there. I would like to hear it. I'm very interested. This channel isn't just about me. This channel is about engaging with the audience and with people, you know, the public, random people. And if you're a random people, which you are watching this video, please leave a comment so that I can engage with you and we can talk more one-on-one. You know, if you go and check out other comments, we can actually start having a relationship through this platform. And that's exactly what I'm looking for, is to have more interaction. Less me in front of a camera and more me in front of people and people responding back to me and just enjoying that process. I would like that very much. So thanks for doing all that I've suggested, recommended, and requested, and I'll see you in the next video.